Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about why you should ditch the funnels, ditch jobs to be done, and instead here's how you can map your customer journeys to build your products or services better. But again, why does knowing your customer matter? You want to know how to make your prospective customers either sign up or discover your product, maybe upgrade to a paid version or a higher premium version of your product, and retain them in the long term. And there are many ways for you to know about your products, about your customers. One that you might have heard of before is the marketing funnel. Here are some examples from SEMrush, and one where I worked with a B2C SaaS company before, which talks about and visualizes it very well on how you have a lot of customers who may be aware of your product. A few of them go through the other stages. So this is great at visualizing your numbers. What it isn't good at is providing an explanation. Why did customers go from one step to the other? It also assumes all of your customers are uniform, which you know is not true. Every customer, a lot of customers are different from other customers. Then there's jobs to be done, which this is great at understanding how your product or service fits in the overall customer journey or overall life of a customer. And it tells you the why of why did a customer sign up to your product. What it doesn't tell you is how did they hear about your product, and what's the distribution of your customers. How many are doing using the different features within your product. Then there's the design thinking emotional roller coaster. And the one example here is from Windmill Digital. Another is when I was working with a B2C restaurant booking app. And you can see that it's great at it provides some visual imagery. It also provides understanding of the emotions that your customers are going through. What it's lacking though is it's assuming everybody starts from the same entry point and exits or churns from the same exit point. That's not really true. Everybody might discover your product with with a different reason and through a different channel. It also does not quantify these parts. It sometimes focuses too much on micro emotions. For example, on the left side, there's one which says the cashier wasn't very helpful. Or here there's something which says somebody says no to the restaurant that this group wanted to go to. I'm sure you can guess that these are not universal. These are not things that every customer or most customers of yours are going through. These are very anecdotal for a customer. Now let's take the fourth example of storyboarding. Storyboarding was is used by Airbnb. Sorry, it's also used by Disney to visualize the story or the journey of your customer. And this is great to have visual tools to share with your stakeholders. Airbnb, in fact, hired a pixel illustrator to build the storyboard in their office in San Francisco. But do you have a Pixar quality illustrator with you to build such storyboards? Or and do you have some kind of offline or physical product that you can use to visualize this? Also, this doesn't tell metrics. So before we move to the next thing, I would recommend you put a timer for 2 minutes, pause on this video, and write down your customer's journey. Take your customer from discovering your product and signing up to churning from your product. Okay. Assuming you paused the video, you came back, or you just skimmed through, let's go to the next part. So, why does a customer journey map matter? You want to know how to make your prospective customers buy your product, upgrade to your maybe a paid plan, and retain them for the longer term. But does the marketing funnel tell you why or what makes a prospective customer do either of these things? It doesn't. What about jobs to be done? Does it tell you how many customers are at different stages of your pipeline? It doesn't. So, how do you find out how many customers, where, when, why are they doing in their journey? That's where customer journey maps helped me. And I'll walk you through a few examples of where they help me make product decisions and how you can build it when you should build. But before we look at customer journey maps, where does this content and where do I come from? I'm Harshal Patil. I run a product consulting company, Spark Creative Technologies, where I work with B2B SaaS companies to help them improve their customer experience, including helping them with customer research. Before this, I've had product experiences at most recently as a product manager at Twilio. Before that, I've had product management and engineering experiences at Cisco, Telesign, Qualcomm, and Broadcom. I did my undergrad in IIT Kanpur from India and my MBA from UCLA in California. So let's come back to a customer journey map. Here's one example for a budget hotel platform that I worked with. So I use this example as my first example because any viewer has likely been to a hotel or an Airbnb or booked one. And but the first thing that you'll notice when you look at this is very monotonous. This is very monochromatic. There's not a lot of colors here. It's not. It's also very uninspiring, but it's valuable. It's valuable for you to have discussions with your stakeholders and bring them to the same page about what needs to be done for your customers and how should your customers be informed about any changes. I'll walk you through this customer journey. Now remember, the first part of a customer journey starts in their mind. A customer may book a flight to Portugal and then realize, oh, I need somewhere to stay there. That's the part you see here outside where the user realizes they need somewhere to stay. They may open your app. They may search and evaluate through multiple options, confirm and pay for one of your options, so go through your checkout process. They may receive a confirmation email immediately, or it could be a text message. They may receive a reminder email later on, closer to the date when they're flying. And similar, just as this can be email or text or push notification, similarly, it can be an app, it can be a website, it can be some other form of interaction with them. Now they are stepping out of the first stepped out of your web app or website into your email, but they're still connected to you. Now they are completely out of your software, but they're still part of your journey. They are entering your hotel. Imagine the first time you open the hotel door and you step inside, or the first time you enter a hotel lobby and you're looking for the check-in desk. This is that step. Then they experience the hotel for a few days and leave the hotel. When they leave the hotel, do they have a checkout flow? Do they need to pay for the minibar? All those things are part of this node of the experience. Then you may send them a CSAT survey where they look at, where we ask them feedback for what went well, what didn't, and we can try to connect the dots for this entire journey based on their feedback. Let's use what we built to solve some example problems. When I was talking to this business, they were looking to improve their customer experience and move their positioning from a budget hotel platform to a premium brand. So let's use this framework. Good customer experience is when the reality matches expectations. And a luxury brand is when the expectations are of exclusivity, premium feel, luxury. So where can now let's take the question of which nodes would you focus on for either of these? We'll take it first the example of a good customer experience. If the reality is part of the accommodation, but we do, let's assume we can't change that. That will mean we want to go and change the expectations. Where do we set the expectations for the customers? Set a few stages. One is at search and evaluate when they are looking at the hotels and they're looking at the information. Maybe there's some information that's not too pertinent to decide between hotels, but it's pertinent before they pay you money because once they pay you money, they are committing themselves. So maybe at the confirm and pay the checkout process stage, you want to give them your disclaimers and your explanations for how the experience, what expectations should they have for the experience. Or when you send them a confirmation email or reminder email, have clear call to actions for anything that they need to do before they enter the hotel. For example, is there a KYC, know your customer requirement for the country that they're going to for any hotel travelers? For a premium brand, think of exclusivity, and let's talk about the first node. Open the app. Think of somebody who can open an app on their phone and book a hotel. Does that sound exclusive to you? Doesn't to me. What about somebody who can still open an app maybe, but maybe it's a paid app. You pay a subscription fee for it, or you have concierge who walks you through what kind of hotel would work well for you for the situation. Now think of search and evaluate node for exclusivity and luxury. When you are showing your list of hotels, do you want to show the biggest number as the price of the hotel and make people index on the price? Or do you want to hide that because that's something that you are implying does not matter to a premium brand or a luxury traveler? There are a few ways for you to play with this experience. The other thing could be when they're at the hotel, they're experiencing it as a premium or a luxury brand, you want to point out to them There are no incidentals. Use whatever you want in the minibar. It's all inclusive. Don't worry about any small thing when you're here. So these are a few ways and when I was working with this business, we were also looking at how to improve the customer satisfaction survey and how do we get more transparency into the customer journey map. But we talked about a few ways how you can think of changing the customer experience or changing the brand positioning. And as I'm sure you can guess, there's a lot more layers that you would want to go through to execute on this work. And there are three simple steps to draw any customer journey map for any kind of product. You start with the skeleton from what you remember. You may add maybe like few details to it, and you draw rest of the effing owl or the journey map. That's basically this is the draw the owl meme. Maybe you've seen it. It's pointing out that you can start with the basics, but to reach the end goal, there's a lot of things you have to figure out on the way. So let's do that process. Take 5 minutes to draw your customer's journey. Take your customer from discovering your app and signing up to churning, and take 5 minutes, put a timer, draw it, and then come back to it to this video because that will help you internalize the next few steps. And uh, the way to think of this is, what do you know about your customer's journey? Don't go around looking for details. Don't go around into your product analytics or interviewing customers right now. Just draw what you remember. Okay, let's move to the next part, and think again of what did you find to be easy in this and what was tricky for this as you drew it. And now let's go back to those three simple steps with more details than the meme. First step is draw from memory on a pen and paper. It can be a digital pen on a digital paper. It's totally good. That's what I have done in a few videos that I've uploaded earlier, which I'll link in the description. Understand your customer's behavior. This is a huge bucket in itself. We'll unpack that. But basically, you started with the skeleton. Now you want to understand which parts of the skeleton are true and what else do you need to add. Once you've understood your customer's behavior thoroughly, you want to synthesize your understanding by adding nodes, quantifying the different connections between nodes, and pruning unlikely paths. We'll do this through an example. Let's draw it for a B2C SaaS freemium product. I'll walk through these jargon. B2C means a business you're selling not to other businesses, but to individual consumers. SaaS means you're selling a software product, but you're not selling the product, you're selling access to the product. Premium means there's a free version of your product and customers can pay more to get unlock more features of it. Now, drawing from memory with a pen and paper, I've not even told you what product this is, but you can still guess these few steps of any B2B, B2C SaaS premium product. You install the app, you do the core task of the app, and this could be an app or you go to the website. Core task could be something like on Grammarly where you're accepting the edits that it recommends to you, or on Spotify, you play a song. Push notification, you may get a push notification to come back to the app in some way. For on Spotify, it's you keep getting push notifications to continue listening, or whenever you connect to your car Bluetooth, it starts playing. Or for Grammarly, even if you are not asking it for suggestions, it'll start popping up to say we can review this document for you. Then upgrade or go premium, pay the premium version, go to the higher, like unlock more stuff for it. Or churn or downgrade, you delete your account or you stop using the premium account, or you just stop using the product. And here the example I'm going to use is distill.io. I worked with distill.io on improving their customer experience. And here's an example. What does distill.io do? It can monitor websites, web pages for changes on the web pages. For example, I was tracking a 600-pound mechanical keyboard that I wanted to buy for my wrist pain, and I could use this to monitor the stock availability of the product on a website. So that's now let me explain more about the product. So and align this to a two-dimensional axis. So the two dimensions here are on the x-axis chronological for the customer. The more to the left, the earlier they are in their life cycle. The more to the right, the later they are in their journey. The top to bottom is transparency of customer needs. how much visibility do we have into what the customer is looking for, what the customer is doing? When they are on a social media website, you don't have as much visibility onto what all pages did they go to figure you out, but you have some visibility that okay, this post of mine has 5 likes or 50,000 likes. But when they are using your app or they are on your website or your, especially apps, let's say, you have a lot of visibility. This could be through Hotjar, Amplitude, Mixpanel, all of those where you're getting to know each and every click that your customer is doing, and what you could help that could help you understand some confusions that they are going through. Let's walk through this journey. Installing the app happens on the Chrome Store or Apple Store in this case because Distill.io is most popular as a browser extension. Then they may create a monitor, which is the core task. Here they are tracking the stock availability of something. Then they may receive an email alert. So they are receiving the email alert. So that's again some kind of push notification. They may upgrade or go premium, and they may downgrade. They may stop using the product. Now, how do we understand customer behavior? We have drawn the first step. We have drawn it at a very high level based on what we can, like, based on the very simple understanding of the product. What can we do more? So now, the step to understanding customer behavior, I recommend merging anecdotes and data to be able to understand your customer's journey or experience. So there are these three ways for it. One is quantitative, where you have product analytics, heap analytics, mix panel amplitude, all of those, which gives you a lot of data points uh, for our like lot of distributions of customer behaviors, but very little why did customers do something. Then qualitative. Qualitative anecdotes are things such as survey responses, forums, support tickets, escalations to the product team. There are fewer data points than the quantitative data, but this is still helping you understand patterns. But also now you're getting a better sense of why did is something happening. The last is interviews, where you may do a few interviews, but that really gives you deep insights into the mental model of the customers. So a lot of why. What a very few interviews. So there's more information here which you can pause and take a look at. I've covered this in more detail in an article that I've linked in the description. Now we complete the step 3 of the customer journey map for this product. I'll walk you through some of my findings here. For example, I found out that once a user realizes they need web monitoring, they may go to Reddit or forums or Facebook groups and say, "Hey, I know you. I'm trying to buy NVIDIA GPU, but it's really hard to find what's working for you guys to buy it." So they get referred by somebody on a social media or forum page to their to the product, and I found that 15% of traffic was from social media, or they could search and evaluate. An example of that is they go to Google and they say, how do I track NVIDIA or how do I track the changes in stock availability for a product? 25% of traffic was from search engines. So knowing this could help me work with the business to prioritize how much of the time should we spend on solving for C versus B. How can we make it easy for one user on a forum to refer our product to another user on the forum? Versus how can we make it easy for Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo to find our product for the different things that our people are searching for, the users are searching for. Then a gradual reveal of the other parts here. They'll come to our website after installation. So till that point, they are not even on our website. So once they come on our website, we have better understanding of what they are doing. They may create a monitor. In this case, we realize that 80% users do this core task within the same day as they install the extension or app. 40% users at any time in their life create monitors, which means we can't track 60% of our users in a way. Only 10 to 15% users go premium, and only those users can go premium who have created an account. So if I were to ever send some kind of marketing messages through the app, I should only focus on users who have accounts, uh, or, or who are new in their journey. Then 80% are churning after 6 months. So now, how did I use this journey map? One, I found out that a lot of users have errors at any given point, and this is one of the reasons that users might churn or downgrade. So this helped me understand that one of their priorities is to provide the right documentation and connect this documentation to the app to help them debug their use cases. Now, yes, we can reduce the number of errors that anybody gets, That's an ongoing long-term core roadmap project part. But again, think of the Kano model, providing them the steps so that they can themselves debug and solve their problems, despite a wide variety of problems that each user might face, can reduce the churn or downgrade. Second thing here was we were looking to add new marketing channels for video content and textual blogs content of a different case study style. How do I find out where are customers finding this for so I can figure out what kind of content will resonate the best with, let's say, YouTube audience? There's another thing that we looked at solving using the customer journey map. So these two things: one, creating a new marketing channel or campaign; two, finding the most important part to focus on were decisions that I could make by looking at the customer journey map. Another example here I'll use of a B2B setting is of billing 100,000 plus customers. Um, in this case, and you can think of this when you receive a utility bill or a broadband bill from somebody, you may receive an email that your bill is available on the website. You go to the website, you download the bill or invoice, and you may have some confusions. If you do, you reach out to support. Now, let's take this whole experience and make it in a B2B context. So we email the invoice to some customers. Some customers may open the web portal and download the invoice. Either way, then they read the invoice. They may reach out to support, or they may open some how-to articles to clarify their questions. The email, the PDF that we emailed, uh, it's on email. So we have, because emails can have tracking. You may have heard of Mailchimp and Marketo and SendGrid and so many different tools that you can use to track the emails that you have sent. Whereas a document, if somebody has a PDF document in front of them, I'm sure you can imagine it's very hard to track what's happening behind the scenes there. If they reach out to support, you have better tracking because now it's in your system. It's like some kind of support ticket handling system. If they're on your web portal, you have a lot of insights because they are you're able to track every click and every wait time, every confusion that your customer may have. Now we have unveiled it from step one to step three. You can see a lot of things changed. And now you can see a lot more nodes got added, a lot more like connections between nodes got added. But how exactly is this happening? So where did the data come from? So what's the step two like? So I have, again, we'll use the same inverted pyramid framework. And here are some logos of some tools or some methods that help me get this data. On the top for interviews, you'll find Zoom, Calendly, Google Docs as a representation of customer interviews. On the bottom, you'll find Looker, Google Big Data, BigQuery, Heap Analytics, SendGrid, Google Analytics. In the middle, you'll find Jira, Salesforce, Google Sheets, Zendesk. And let's, instead of going more in detail here, let's talk about this in the next slide, where we overlay these logos. I'll walk you through a few examples. SendGrid on the left bottom side tells me how many people received the email, how many opened the email, when did they open the email, and how often did they keep coming back to the same email. Once they open the email, do they click on any links in there or do they close it off within a few minutes? So that's the information that I can get using SendGrid. Let's look at Heap Analytics. It tells me how many users opened the web portal at the end of the month, which is when invoices are generated. How many users maybe download the documents at that point, or they go and change their email preferences to start receiving emails of the invoices or stop receiving emails of the invoices. Some the example Zendesk support tool as an example for customers to reach out to support and for us to track all our cases. We can also have escalations through Jira or Salesforce to product teams, which we can track for what questions are the support not able to answer of the customers. So when can you build this? I guess before when can you build this, let me talk about a few examples where I used this customer journey map you see right in front of you. One, I realized that based on some initial research, found that there was some portion of the invoice which was really confusing to customers. So I removed that part from the invoice and started revamped the invoice and sent it out to customers. Suddenly, there was an influx of questions to the support team and escalations to the product team. That there's this crucial section which we need from some other customers, and we really need it. You need to put it back right now and send us an updated invoice. Now that was not possible because there were issues in that challenge in that section. But I needed to understand the customer journey so that I can find better ways to solve it. I realized that I found out the journey here. So, customers are reading the invoice, they are reaching out to support at that point, but there's another place where this information exists. So, if customers are searching for that information in the invoice, at a specific part in the invoice, can I point them to the web portal where they can find this information in a more accurate manner and in a self service manner versus relying on a PDF to be delivered to them or versus reaching out to the support? At the same time, support will always have some questions from some customers about the same thing. So instead of making them reach out to R&D or to product team and wait for a response, what kind of tooling can I make discoverable for support team so that they can solve these problems faster for customers? So this was an example of um, reducing dissatisfaction among customers by using the customer journey map to find the right nodes of changing something. Another example was a time when there were about 10,000 plus customers who had sent really angry emails to a team. And this was a team of just two people. So, two people handling 10,000 plus emails was just impossible. They were overwhelmed. And I realized that this was because when we sent an email to customers, they would read the email, they would just reply to the email with a single sentence question, and that would go into a black hole because that two people team was not meant to look at inbound questions. So these customers would be really worried and get angry once they did not receive the response. At some point they would escalate it to the support team, and the start of that escalation was already at an angry footage, although this team had never heard of them. So by understanding this journey, I could figure out if I change the reply to email, if I change the sender email for the customer, if I set up an auto reply, so these are simple process changes that I could do because there was nothing wrong with the product, but we still had a lot of dissatisfied customers. So the journey helped me understand how to redesign the process to improve customer experience. When can you build this? One example is when you want to start a new product or service, you want to build something, you're starting from scratch. An example of this is realize that the customer journey or a user journey for an aspiring product manager, they have a resume, they submit it to a few places, they get back rejections. They immediately go to resume checkers online and start editing their resume. Or they go to the job description, put that, copy paste it in, and try to compare their resume with the job description. They're trying to match their resume to show the skills that a product manager needs. And that was helpful for me to understand that I could build a product management resume checker and launch it, which I did earlier this year, and it helped get few paid and free customers. The other example is when you see there's a drop in customer satisfaction. I talked about an example where there were a lot of dissatisfied customers because I removed information from the invoice. And how I use the customer journey map to understand how do I provide the right invoice information to them in the short term, enable the support team in the medium term, and in the long term, what information should be provided in which format and where to customers. Third example is a marketing campaign launch, a channel launch. We talked about an example of building video content for digital.io, finding the right places to share this information, also documentation to help customers solve their own problems, and surfacing the documentation at the right point in the journey. Fourth example is of a process redesign. I talked about how the emails that customers would send was going into a black hole, into an overwhelmed team, and how we looked at improving that. So think back again, take 2 minutes of your time, think back to this month. Where can you use customer journey maps as a tool? And again, like you can use it for new product development, process redesign, dissatisfied customers, or a new marketing campaign or challenge. Think about this because this would be a great way for you to internalize the learnings you had and also find out what works well amongst this and what's useless out of these tools. So what can you take away today from this video that you have watched? One, you can visualize a map to show the why, how many, where, when, how of your customers. You can combine data, empathy, qualitative data, quantitative anecdotes to know and quantify your customer's journey. You can review the journey at launch, review or design stages using this journey map to make things better. And again, think back to what else surprised you and let me know. I'd love to take action on that and help you on those fronts. And these are a few coordinates that we can stay in touch with beyond this video.